we have a few moments that we can open it up for some questions.
On the jobs number, how confident are you in the American Chemistry Council's numbers when, first, they're tied directly to Shell Chemical, that's one of the companies in that council, and two, this is a pitch that they made to 9 other states?
Well, it's a pitch based upon, I don't know that I want to use the word pitch. It is a projection based upon experiences in the past with the industries. 9 other states are looking at this. As we said, we're in competition. We're in competition with Ohio and West Virginia. We're also in competition with Louisiana that would love to keep this. Texas is building one down in, or not Texas, Exxon is building one in Texas right now to take care of the oil that they have down there that can be turned into the ethylene. These are economies, they're economic decisions, projections made by people who have a lot more information than I do, particularly through their projection. But what they're also projecting, and it was talked about a little bit here, is once this is built, this is the attraction to bring in other manufacturing companies, the other petrochemical companies to come in and build the plastics. And frankly, then I think you can see smaller manufacturing companies relocating or locating and starting up new companies in not just southwestern Pennsylvania, but all across Pennsylvania because of the proximity to the plant as compared to a proximity to a plant down in the Gulf Coast. For instance, one of the byproducts of this is propane. And I know that one of the companies in the east, along down in southeastern Pennsylvania, is looking to see if they would get the propane over there. And does this, would they receive the credit in dealing with Shell when they manufacture the propane? So it's going to help other portions of the state of Pennsylvania also. Okay.
But how much of an internal fact check has your administration been able to do on these figures? I mean, are we able to look at this and say, okay, we believe these numbers are going to be pretty accurate for Pennsylvania's
I guess the fact checking really is from someone who lives with the Department of Revenue and the Department of Community and Economic Development, but also taking a look at the industry itself, particularly down in the Gulf Coast, where there are thousands of jobs in this industry. This is the creation of a new, which will be cleaner. It will be modern technology because as you build it, the newest one, it's going to have that. But it's also going to have the advantage of being closer to the feedstock, the natural gas itself. So, numbers, it's going to be a lot of jobs. They don't get the credit until they build it. That's the most important. If they don't build it, I think it was Rich. You said 0, 0, 0, right? Right. They get nothing.
It sounds like you're pretty confident in these numbers.
Yes, and the other thing that's important in that. Let's go back 2 years ago when we were talking about natural gas, and the debate was, well, the gas isn't going to go anywhere. Well, the gas is going places. The gas can go in a pipeline down to the Gulf Coast, and we would get no benefit from that. If we can keep the gas in Pennsylvania from manufacturing in Pennsylvania, we get a huge benefit to that. So the percentage of the tax credit from 0 is 0, but from 100 gives us the remainder, and that creates jobs. And that creates, let's talk about the economy, let's talk about the budget for a moment. That's more money to the state in revenue.
Governor, have you done any outreach to the legislature to test support there for what will have to be approved?
Yes, we have. We're in discussions right now. I'm not going to go into this.
What kind of support do you think there is? I mean,
well,
do you believe the votes are there?
With having some friends from the other side of the aisle here, I think the support will be there. Okay, but one of the reasons we've asked all these gentlemen here from both sides is that they go reinforce it with the legislature. We've seen a lot of rallies out in the Rotunda over the last 3 months. We didn't take over the Rotunda, we did it here. This is as important as any rally that we have had here since my budget address. In the back.
Governor, what reassurances can you give that the tax credits won't be misused as some have in the past, and that the revenues generated from the tax credit will match or exceed the credits that you're providing?
You kind of combine two there, okay? So give me the first one again.
How can you reassure residents of the state that the tax credits won't be misused as some other?
Well, frankly, I guess, I'm sorry, the lawyer in me comes out. What do you mean by misuse? Let me put it this way. They don't get the tax credit until they build it. If they build it, they get a tax credit. What they're using the tax credit for is A, and Representative Christiana made it very, very clear, keep the feedstock here. Because right now, there's people that are trying to get contracts to get the natural gas, long-term contracts, to ship it out of state. If they know that they can get a credit here, maybe they're going to keep it here. That helps build it on the front end. On the back end, it helps build the new industries here in Pennsylvania in order to get the credit. That's the way it gets used. It can't get used any other way. And they're going to have to demonstrate that to us. There is, I believe, and I don't want to get down into the weeds of the detail of the legislation, there will be reviews, periodic reviews of that. Now, question number 2.
What reassurances can you give that the revenues generated will match or exceed the credits that are being provided?
I think if you talk to any of the people that have been involved in this, at the levels that we're talking about, you know, if the revenues are going to match because you are creating new industries, new businesses here in Pennsylvania, and new jobs. Right now, we have no jobs in this industry, you know, in the way we're looking at this. None. These are going to be all new jobs. The construction trades, 10,000 jobs for a period of 3 to 4 years, just to build the one plant. There's going to have to be other plants built. And almost simultaneously, if not right thereafter, in order to take this Ethane, if they want to get the credit here in Pennsylvania. Those jobs are significant jobs. Okay, you already had a question.
You got 2.
To follow up on that question, they were talking about 10,000, 17,000. The Department of Labor and Industry had a number last week that was 6,000 to 8,500 jobs. Why aren't you using that number?
You want to answer that one?
Department of Labor and Industry has done an analysis for workforce needs. The Chemical Association has also done it. Ours are still preliminary, but right now they're matching very closely. And we did it in 2 phases. I think you're looking at only 1 phase. There's the construction phase and the jobs created by the construction phase of the cracker plant, and then there's the operational phase. So there are 2 numbers to deal with here, and we're talking thousands of jobs. And the numbers closely align with those from the chemical. So you're getting 2 sources here. But ours are still in a work in progress. We're still looking at them.
Okay.
Governor, I saw Mr. Taylor just mentioned that this is, if this were to take place, this would help our children, our grandchildren. Seems like you need a strong basis for the workforce. Education comes to mind. I know your wife, the First Lady this morning, had her Opening Doors initiative, trying to prevent dropouts throughout the public education system. That might directly contrast your view of proposing some of those education cuts. So how would you?
You are looking at today, I'm looking at 5 years from now and thereafter. This has no effect on the budget today. And unfortunately, we're in a very difficult budget time right now. Revenues are starting to grow. In fact, I believe we're going to be able to be in a position to announce that we're going to put more money back in over what my February 7th budget said, and in many different areas. We're not going to be able to meet everybody's desires that are out there. Because I always talk about there's an infinite amount of requests and a finite amount of money. But we're going to be able to do better than what we projected back on February 7th. So I'm happy to see that. What this does, it talks about whoever's governor after me and governor 2 and 5 and 10 governors after me having an economy that is growing based on manufacturing that does not exist right now, so that they will have money for education, for the social services. In fact, we're not going to need as many social services, I would hope, by building the economy, by having these people have jobs. So I know that's what people react to today's present difficult budget time and talking about this kind of money down the future, but you really have to separate the 2. Peter?
A number of legislators have expressed concern that the cap starts at 66 million and then will grow, because as other companies want to come, they'll say, you know, hey, we don't want to get 10% of 66 million if we have 10% of the application. We would, you know, and Shell is not going to be interested in going down to 80, 60, 50% when other companies start to share. As long as you remain governor, do you consider the 66 million a hard cap, or do you want to see what jobs come here and what you have to do?
Well, first off, I mean, the law's not passed yet, so you're asking me to comment on the law.
But there's this number.
There's a number, but there is still, I mean, you're going to see debate on this, I believe, on the floor of both the House and the Senate in regard to that. If we are able to develop more companies, that means more jobs. If we can go up, we go up. Because if it's 66 or 76, whatever the percentage is, it's a percentage of new jobs that we don't have right now. I know that's, I mean, for the general public, that might be hard to understand. Because we're still looking at, you know, they think we're giving money to them. No, we're not. What we're saying is, you build it, you provide all these jobs for all these people, and we'll take a little bit less money from you so that we have more money for us. Let's pick a number. Just pick a number. This is hypothetical. Let's say it's $20 on every $100 that we don't take. They owe us 100. We say, you know what? We take 80. You take 20. That's basically what this is after the fact.
And what's the magic of the 66 million? One of your officials was saying the other day that there was some reason that Shell asked to that.
Pete, I'm not going to answer that because let's see what the debate goes into. Okay?
No, they said there was some actual basis that this is some direct thing that they explained to you.
I think you're going to see movement on it.
Up or down?
I think you're going to see movement. One last question.
Why target just a major company like Shell with something like this? Why not pursue more broad-based, lower taxes that would allow smaller companies to come in and create smaller levels of jobs? I mean, I'm sorry, somebody had it.
Why do you think?
I'm asking you.
No, why do you think? I mean, first off, I don't see the other companies, those kind of companies, coming in and saying, we're going to provide thousands of jobs. We don't want you to give us money up front. We want to earn it. That's not, this is kind of new. It really is. It's not completely new. There was a bill that passed back in the late 90s dealing with coal, the coal gasification. Did something very similar, not quite exactly, but did the same thing. If they built it and they started using it, they got a credit for everything. So this is, if we had other companies come to us, I think the legislature would agree. If you have other companies coming in and say, hey, look, we can, let's say Boeing says, we're going to come in and use the natural gas to develop a fleet of natural gas airplanes. This is all hypothetical, so Peter, quit right now.
I'm still catching up with coal gasification.
Okay. You know, but and all we want to do is get a credit afterwards after we built this brand new industry. I think I would look at it seriously. I think the legislature would look at it seriously. The more we can give jobs, not give, get jobs, earn jobs for the people of Pennsylvania, reduce our unemployment, get it down as far as we possibly can. The more that we can have people not on needing the social services, not on welfare, that's really our goal. And that's, and I go back, that's not a Republican Democrat goal. That is good policy, good politics. Thank you all very much.